So, welcome back. This is part 2 of my video on topical steroid withdrawal. In the last video, I talked more generally about topical steroid withdrawal, the problems that I have with the community around it, the support community. And I got a little bit into, the beginnings of my own story with topical steroid withdrawal. Now I'm going to go more in depth on my own story, what I dealt with, and how I healed it. So, I have this theory that the 3 to 5 year thing with topical steroid withdrawal, and mind you, there are people who deal with it for longer than that, like they're 7, 8, 9 years more. I don't know, like I remember reading a story of a woman who had been dealing with it for 9 years, and I was like, Jesus Christ, like how can she go on like that? And 5 years was more than enough for me. But I have this theory that the topical steroid withdrawal itself is actually way shorter. I feel like, the first 3 or 4 or 5 months that I dealt with it were the absolute worst. Like everything was wrong. I couldn't digest anything. My skin was a literal mess. It felt like a volcano or something. And there was so much pus and blood and dead skin and all that, and my eyes were just puffy all the time and pus coming out of them, and like I was sneezing and I was allergic to everything, and my hair was falling out and I lost my eyebrows, and it was just full body just inflammation, like everything was burning up. Felt like absolute crap. And after those 5 months were over, I still felt like crap, but like most of the inflammation had gone down quite a bit. Like I wasn't that puffy in my eyes anymore. My skin was really bad still, and it kept being really bad for 5 more years. But like the worst of the worst seemed to be over. And in retrospect, I think that at that point, the topical steroid withdrawal was pretty much over, the withdrawal process itself. But I think it had left me in such a state of disrepair. Like my health was so bad. And I'm not sure like exactly what's behind it, but I think it's something like what I was talking about in my earlier video. Like that after having put on that Band-Aid and another Band-Aid and another Band-Aid, and the sore has just been festering underneath, and festering and spreading out, and you put on a bigger Band-Aid and bigger Band-Aid with stronger topical steroid medications, that in the end, no steroid medication will cut it anymore. And that's what happened with me. Like I was using strong steroid drugs to keep it at bay. But in the end, even those drugs couldn't work. And I went to the doctor and they were like, oh, you just need even stronger drugs. I was like, no, I'm not taking this further. Like, I know where this ends. So I think what happened then is that you're basically ripping off all the Band-Aids, and you finally see like, oh man, this is the festering sore that was underneath. So I believe that after those few months where I dealt with the worst of the worst, and then went into a long period of just kind of really bad, but not like as bad as it was before. I think that was when the withdrawal ended and the festering sore was left and was apparent. And I think the fact is that when you're in such an unhealthy state like that it takes something more than just a healthy diet and generally living in a healthy way to become truly healthy again, to thrive again. So those 5 years later, when I did my long fasts and took on an entire summer of long fasts and incredibly simple diet, I think I gave my body exactly what it needed, exactly the time and space it needed to heal that festering sore completely. And once it was gone, it had a chance to just rebuild itself from scratch. And that's really how it felt. Like I had fasted so much. I had lost like 15 kilos or something, and I was just skin and bones. I had nothing left. And soon enough, I had regained my, optimum weight and built a lot of muscle and just had so much energy, and I felt so much better. Like no symptoms at all were left. Like no, I haven't even mentioned this in earlier videos, but my allergies went away. I haven't had allergies for 2 years now. And I used to have so bad allergies, both in the summer and the winter and in the spring as well. Like I had pollen allergies and allergies for houseflies and all kinds of animals and stuff like that. And now I'm just like, I can cuddle kittens and play with dogs and I could probably eat houseflies if I wanted to. I don't want to, but probably like a lot of protein in them, but yeah. So yeah, where was I? Oh yeah. After that summer of fasting, I felt like I had actually healed some root illness that had been, just bubbling under the surface for years, and way before the topical steroid withdrawal. That's really the point I'm trying to make. Like, I think the state I was dealing with after topical steroid, after the withdrawal itself, was a time of debt repayment, health debt. So I had been using the easy fix of topical steroid withdrawal. I don't know why I keep touching my arm here. It's just like I remember putting a lot of cream on this area. I guess that's why. So I was putting cream in this area and many more areas, my face especially. So FML. Yeah, so I believe that what was happening was that I was repaying a health debt, so to speak, accumulated health debt, by using the easy fix again and again and again, not dealing with the actual symptoms, not dealing with the root issues, which were, I think had to do with really bad diet ever since I was a kid, and had to do with overuse of antibiotics. I think that had a really big impact on me. I think it really just destroyed the healthy gut flora in my intestines and allowed all kinds of really bad things to just happen. And the thing is, your digestive system is your core. If there's something wrong in there, there's going to be something wrong elsewhere as well. And in many cases, if you can heal your digestive system, and by the way, the easiest and most effective way to heal your digestive system is to do a long fast, reset your microbiome, and then reintroduce foods very slowly with a very simple diet, like 2 or 3 foods. Fermented foods especially will be very helpful. So yogurts, especially if you can get unpasteurized, although in many places that's not possible. For me, yogurt from pasteurized milk did work very well. I made my own sauerkraut, I made my own kombucha and all this stuff. You can also, if you're willing to spend the money, you can go out into the store, the health food store, and buy a living kombucha, living sauerkraut. That stuff is really good. The bacteria in those food products are very healthy, and you want them in your gut. But you also want to destroy the bacteria in your gut that have gone out of balance. I think Candida is probably a big culprit there, but there are definitely more. And there should be a balance. Candida is not evil, it's not bad. It's just that when you eat a really bad diet, when you eat a lot of sugar, a lot of white rice and white flour and stuff like that, you are feeding Candida too much, and it grows out of proportion. And especially if you've been taking antibiotics and stuff like that, you've been basically killing everything. Antibiotics don't discriminate between bacterium, or bacteria, I should say. They kill everything. And then when you feed it again, when you start eating again, processed flour and then sugar and stuff like that, and you feed the Candida, but all the other stuff doesn't get whatever nutrients it needs, you're in for a rough time. You really are. So it really behooves us to be as aware and conscious of what we're eating and what is going on in here. I would say like this is the core where you will probably find the root to what is behind your topical steroid withdrawal symptoms. So if I don't really want to be giving out medical advice at all, because, you know, first, I may be wrong. Like, I don't want to give somebody advice that fucks them up. But I do want to tell you, if I had the chance to go back in time and give myself advice after 5 months or 1 year of dealing with topical steroid withdrawal, if I could go back to 2016 and just talk to a bit younger and sadder Tolly, I would tell him, like, I believe that your withdrawal period is over, and what you need to do now is actually start to try to heal a deeper issue. So go out, my son, and fast. Fast, and then eat simply, and you will heal. That's what I would say. And I'm like 95% sure that I would have been able to cut 4 years off of the topical steroid withdrawal that way. I do remember, however, now that I'm talking about this, a blog that I read by a youngish woman from Singapore, I believe, who started out her topical steroid withdrawal. So she quit cold turkey, and I believe the same day as she quit, she started a 21-day water fast. And I believe that was a terrible mistake. Judging by the photos that she put on, she looked absolutely terrible. And the thing is, when you fast like that, the detoxing symptoms can become incredibly intense. And if there is a surplus of poisonous substance in your body, in your fatty tissues, like in the case of this woman when she was quitting topical steroids cold turkey, so she had years of accumulated topical steroids in her fatty cells, fatty tissues. And as the body starts to burn these tissues during the fast, and all of those accumulated toxins are released at the same time, it was messed up. Like, she looked like a burn victim in a terrible house fire. Like, it's terrible to even try to remember those pictures. And the worst thing was that after the 21-day fast, she if I remember correctly, she claimed to feel a bit better, but she looked like a train wreck. And I don't, like, it looked so bad that I can't even imagine that she would actually have, that the scars would actually heal fully. Like, she had lost all her hair, all of her eyebrows, and she was just like, it was really bad. So I wouldn't recommend that at all. Like, you can do some short fasts when you're going through topical steroid withdrawal, true topical steroid withdrawal. You can do a few short fasts, and it'll probably help. But I think you should take it easy while the worst symptoms are coming out. At least be vigilant. Like, if you're doing a longer fast, it may be okay, like, but just really take care. Really take care. But after the worst has passed, and for me it was, I believe it was like 5 months, maybe half a year or something like that. After that, I think a person should really go deep into hardcore fasting and deep into austere diet, as unexciting as that sounds. You'll be surprised how fast you get used to it, and you'll be surprised also how fast it'll affect your health in a very good way. So if you're at that point, I would highly recommend that you look into doing fasting. and do your own research. Obviously, read a lot about it. Read a lot of anecdotes, especially. I think they're more helpful than the research that you can find. Although you should check out the research as well, just to, calm your mind a bit around it. I think, because I think for many people it's a scary prospect to do a long fast. But as soon as you start delving deep into it, you'll find out, like, people have been fasting for tens of thousands of years. Like, seriously, like, people have been doing this for so long. And it's been recognized and known in all cultures throughout human history that fasting is a magnificent tool of healing. And even today, like in modern religions, like, this is just not disputed at all. Modern medicine, however, even though it has researched fasting a lot, and there's a lot of information available on the benefits of fasting, it is not widely talked about. And the reasons, I believe, are mostly economical. So follow the money, man. That's all I'll say about that. But I think we're about at the end of this video. But I think maybe I'll talk a little bit more about the final days of my topical steroid withdrawal experience, which are right before the summer of 2019. So I should say that at that point, I was as bad as I was, as I had been for the last 4 years. Like, there were basically no improvements at all in the condition of my skin, like in the condition of my health in general. So what happened there was just like, I just lost it, man. I was just like, yeah, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm either going to fast myself to death or I'm going to fast myself to health. And thankfully the second option was the one that happened. So I did regain my health. And I was surprised as anybody. Like, I remember I was staying at my dad's house, and my dad and I have a kind of weird relationship, but I love him, and he's a good man. And he let me stay at his house in Sicily while I was doing the fast. And I remember coming to visit him, moving in with him, and one of our first conversations was like, yeah, Dad, I'm feeling really bad, I'm really, really sick, and I'm gonna try fasting. I'm gonna aim for 10 days. And he was like, what? You're gonna fast for 10 days? And then he was like, well, okay, we'll see how far it goes. And then I fasted for 10 days. And he could see, like, the terrible condition my skin was in, and just my health in general. I was telling him about all of the stuff, and he was like, wow, you're in really bad shape. And then 10 days later, he was like, wow, you look so much better, and your energy is so much better. And really actually got on my nerves, though, that even though he saw this happen right in front of his eyes, he saw me heal myself through fasting and through a very simple diet, he did not take it to heart. And he has his own health issues, and he's been overweight his whole life and stuff like that he could so easily fix through applying these principles. And I tried to tell him so, but he wouldn't listen, and I don't know why. Like, and this is something that I've found in many people that I talk to these issues with. Just sort of disbelief, I guess. Like, even though they have the evidence right in front of them, they don't believe that it's possible or that it makes sense. So I don't know what's behind that, and maybe I'll find out someday, but I don't know right now. But yeah, what followed was summer, where I started by fasting for 10 days. Then I did multiple 4 and 5 and 6 day fasts, 1 7-day fast, a 3-day dry fast, and a few shorter dry fasts as well, which were very interesting but also incredibly intense. So if you can try that out, I'd recommend that you start slowly and do your research, definitely. But I came out of that summer 100% healed, and with a completely fresh and new perspective on life and health in general. And that's really what's brought me here. It's amazing to me right now, actually, that I'm making these videos at all. A few years ago, I wouldn't have dreamed of it, like putting myself out there like that, talking about something with such confidence. Like, I have such confidence in these principles, and I have such a strong longing to put them out there and to help people if I can. If I possibly can help somebody to get through something similar as what I was dealing with, a health crisis, basically. Doesn't really matter what exactly it is. But if you're dealing with topical steroid withdrawal, just don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can send me a direct message, or you can comment down below. We can even like chat on Skype or something like that if you want. I would like to try doing some consulting and stuff like that, but for right now, it would just be a chat. Like, we would just talk for free. Like, I wouldn't charge anybody for anything at this point. So if you're interested in that, just send me a message and we can try it out. If you think there's something that I can help you with, then I would be more than happy to try to help out. But yeah, this video has gone long enough, and I've ranted quite a bit. I hope you've gained some value from this video as well. I'm trying my best to keep things concise, but there's just so much to talk about, and I hope it doesn't get too rambling. Anyway, just tell me what you think down below in the comments. If you did get value out of this, like and subscribe. That'll really help me to spread the message. And share it. Like, if you feel like going that far, you can share it on Facebook or do whatever. But for now, stay healthy, do some fasting, and I hope you get through whatever you're going through. Peace.